I mean, this flight had to be better than the last one, right? Hi there, my name is Kevin, and I make honest and to-the-point, narrated trip reports about flights and unique hotels all over the world. This is episode 144 on Gulf Air in their Falcon Gold business class from Bahrain to Istanbul. The full experience is coming up in 10 seconds. Welcome to Bahrain. You're joining me in the middle of a 3-leg journey from Bangkok to Rome. My second flight is again on Gulf Air, and if you didn't see my last video detailing my trip from Bangkok, I highly suggest that you watch that at some point for some much needed context to this video. If you'd like to know the exact fare that I paid for these flights or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out that description below. When landing in Bahrain, from the moment you step off the plane, to when you go through security, to when you walk into the terminal itself, 2 things go through your mind. Wow, this place is spotless, and wow, this place looks like OG money. As we head up to the Falcon Gold Lounge for my lovely 6-hour layover, allow me to quickly remind you that this video, like all of my videos, are not sponsored by the company, hotel, or airline that I'm reviewing, because sponsored, unbiased reviews don't exist. So sit back and enjoy this video knowing that it's my own honest opinion and nothing more, because this flight is 100% self-funded. If you enjoy honest and authentic travel reviews, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. A link to my Patreon is also in the description below. A massive thank you in advance for your support. The lounge, like the airport in general, is bright, functional, and has a variety of seating options, though the outlets and the Wi-Fi access are both a bit finicky. The selection of food on offer was decent, if not a bit basic. Time to head to the gate. The airport here, in terms of the number of gates, really isn't that large, but the feel inside certainly doesn't give that impression. In the very center of the terminal is a ginormous 4-sided LED screen with a variety of Bahrain tourism messages, and I do enjoy the pattern on the ceiling, which matches the pattern on the business class seats. Kinda convenient when the airport and the airline owned by the same guy. Gulf Air is sort of in a rebirth at the moment, as they expand and renew their fleet and try to move into the direction of a boutique regional carrier. They currently fly to 55 destinations with a fleet of 34 aircraft, the majority of which are Airbus A320 family aircraft, with 7 787s as well. They also have an additional 22 aircraft on order. When searching fares from Asia, Gulf Air, throughout all of 2022 really, tended to have some of the cheapest business class fares going to Europe, especially to Istanbul, Frankfurt, and Athens. It might be after midnight, but it's hard to feel tired with all of this hyper bright lighting. Boarding time came, and it was as orderly as it could be, with friendly gate staff welcoming business class passengers on board first. As we walk on board, let's take a quick look at the stats for tonight's flight. We took off just 10 minutes behind schedule, and leisurely made our way up to 34,000 feet for our 1,600-mile flight to Istanbul, landing 25 minutes early. After the experience of my last Gulf Air flight, I didn't even feel like attempting to film as I boarded. But apparently I hit the record button by accident. Here we are at my seat for Foxtrot. I'm in love with this seat, truly. Within the realm of any narrow-body, non-lie-flat premium class seat, this is by such a long shot the most comfortable and well-equipped seat I've ever seen. Gulf Air also has them very smartly outfitted with a nice blue fabric that sports that same wave pattern in the middle, accented with brown leather and gold and gray finishes. In between the seats was a latest generation IFE remote, nicely tucked away but still easily accessible. There are also little storage cubbies to hold bottles of water at each seat, but the cubbies are too shallow. There are 16 business class seats, and when we took off, you could hear 16 bottles of water dive bombing onto the floor. There were overhead individual air vents, and my pillow wasn't covered in hair. That's a win. And this IFE screen is huge. I'm sure I've had bigger screens in lie flat seats, but this is by far the biggest screen that I've ever had in a conventional upright seat. Super crisp and clear as well. There's a coat hook and plenty of leg and knee space, especially since these seats don't recline, they slide. I'll show you later. There was just enough space to squeeze my backpack under there, well, kinda. In between the seats, you'll find 3 USB outlets and a universal outlet per seat. Drinks came around, and I believe I had a mint lemonade-ish drink. I don't really remember. It was late, I was tired. Which is precisely why I appreciated the hot scented towel and the Arabic coffee. Very appreciative to get the smooth variety of the Arabic coffee this time. Menus were passed out, we'll take a look in a moment, and I just noticed that there's another storage bin next to your seat under the armrest. The in-flight safety video was played. Why does that kid have red eyes? And we were reminded that Gulf Air is the most improved airline in the world. Again. Dirty windows made for a forgettable taxi to the runway, where we would take off to the north and then continue in that direction over Kuwait, Iraq, and then into Turkey. The spool up and takeoff are coming up next. Bahrain is a tiny country and the airport is on the northern tip, so soon we were over the sea. A quick look at the bathroom showed a clean and appropriately appointed space, and mixed nuts were served with our choice of a drink. Not really in the mood for more of that French wine from that good region, so I went with a vintage Coke Zero. The menu was short, no problem. I ordered the Spanish omelette since I assumed it meant a Spanish tortilla. I was wrong. But at least the tray table was super sturdy. While waiting for my late night breakfast, I enjoyed staring out the window as we flew over this beautiful city. I know where it is, but I won't spoil it for anyone that wants to take a stab at it in the comments below. Again, look, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with this. 11-inch iPad looks like a big iPhone compared to this monitor. The meal was served, and as much as I would love to say that it was fantastic and all that, it was not. I couldn't quite get over the overwhelming airline mushroom smell, and the omelet was just a plain omelet, but it was edible. Not sure what was Spanish about it though. The fruit was beautiful and fresh though, and the pastries were decent as well. While the IFE was a bit short on newer movies, overall there was a decent selection and it was certainly geared towards their route map. We were flying over Batman, Turkey, and I had to search through my phone for the screenshot that I took in 2014 when I was driving through Batman on an overland tour. Overland tour company comparisons is something that I would love to do on this channel in the future. As much as I do love my luxury hotels, I think I love bush camping even more. Anyway, here's that great thing about the seat. The whole seat slides forward and tilts back at the same time. This is not one of those standard fixed cell seats where the butt goes forward. This whole seat cradles you as you lean back. It's fantastic, and I'm convinced it's the seat that Qantas is going to use for their premium economy on its Project Sunrise A350s, since they have specifically mentioned a seat that cradles. This very pleasant flight was coming to an end quickly though, as we began our approach to Istanbul, and then landed from the north. Finally, I'll just mention that the crew on this flight were lovely and efficient and the polar opposite of my last flight. While my never again statement about Gulf Air still stands for now, I was certainly happy to see a much better and friendlier and competent side of the airline as well. Well, that is that. Let's head into the flip-flop score. The lounge was good, not great, but I do have a new favorite seat, and everything in this flight except for the food was near superb. Very happy to have this as my lasting impression of Gulf Air. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss a beat. I'll see you next time on board Turkish Airlines in economy from Istanbul to Rome, a fabulous little flight.